Thank you everybody for joining us today at the 2022 Sustainable City Awards ceremony. I'm Andrew Pendleton and I'm Interim CEO of Global Action Plan. Hi Francisca, are you there?
Hello. Hi everyone, I'm Francisca, a campaigner, geographer, activist and Londoner and Global Action Plan's youth environmental expert, and welcome to this year's Sustainable City Awards.
And Francisca and I will host this afternoon. We'd love to know where you're joining us from today. I'm at home in Hammersmith near the fabulous River Thames. Where are you sitting today, Francisca?
I'm joining from York today.
Oh, wow, fantastic. So let us know, pop a message in the chat box and we'll see where you are. Because it's a bit of a rainy old day here in London, but nevertheless, we'd love to know where you're joining us from. So at Global Action Plan, we believe in a sustainable future where everyone can enjoy a happy and healthy lives within the Earth's limits. For this to become a reality, change needs to happen. And in order to do so, we need the power of people coming together to take action and use their voice. And that's what the Sustainable City Awards are essentially all about. Now, this is the second year that Global Action Plan has run the awards since taking over from the London Sustainability Exchange. And it's also the second online awards ceremony.
We've been utterly impressed and inspired hearing about the work that all of you have been doing and all the other people that have been nominated and the organisations that have been doing amazing work to create a green and thriving London.
We're here to celebrate an amazing shortlist of individuals and organisations from London's education, public and voluntary and community sectors. There were 75 nominations this year, and for each category, we have, unsurprisingly, a winner, but also several highly commended entries.
It's been a difficult few years, so it's nice to come together for these awards and have the opportunity for us all to share and recognise and celebrate all the amazing work that Londoners are doing from all different backgrounds, places of work, and spend their time to kind of create a better well-being for everybody who lives in London as well as our planet. And by all of us being here today, we're all part of a collective achievement brought about by the diverse range of people working towards a shared value of achieving a more sustainable London.
So one or two people coming through. Ugo is saying hi from Camden, Rebecca Clark's in Peckham, and Neil is in Lambeth. Fantastic. What bit of Lambeth? Anyway, maybe Lambeth. So we'd like to begin by recognising the support of our partners in the award, the Mayor of London's office and the London Environment Directors Network, and thank them for their continuing support of the Sustainable City Awards. I'd also like to thank Investec, who've kindly donated funding for the winners in the education and the voluntary and community categories. The funds will be donated to the winning organisations or in the individual categories to a cause of the winner's choice.
And finally, a huge thank you to the 27 judges who have devoted their time and expertise in reviewing the submissions and having the impossible job of deciding the winners. Please do share the event on social media following the hashtag Sustainable City Awards on Twitter. Global Action Plan will also be live tweeting from the main account.
Fantastic. A few more people. Rita in Highbury, hello, and well, Lucy in Bath. Hi. Good for you to join. Fantastic. Thank you very much. So I'd now like to hand over to someone who's been a huge champion of these awards and of sustainability in London over the past few years. She's a Global Action Plan trustee and an unstoppable force on the London political scene. Jeanette Arnold OBE. Jeanette's joining us any second. I happen to know Jeanette's in Shropshire. There we go. Hi, Jeanette.
Hi everybody. Am I being heard?
We can hear you loud and clear, Jeanette.
Thank you so much. And yes, Andrew, thank you for your introduction. And Francisca, it's lovely meeting you. And all the best for the great job you're going to do this afternoon in hosting the 2022 Sustainable City Awards. And Andrew, yes, you're quite right to say that it's such a privilege for me to be here. because I was involved with the awards when I was chair of London Sustainability Exchange before we merged with the fabulous Gap. And much before that, when Samantha Heath, someone who I was privileged to call a friend, comrade, and sister, when she co-founded the first awards, working with the City of London. And so they, they have a wonderful history, and they have brought to the fore the work and the drive and the passion of individuals who are out there just on the front line, like, opening the way for our understanding and opening the way to show good practice of what we can do, how we can bring meaning to our goal of London being the most sustainable city. So it's a great privilege. I just want to start by saying a few words about Samantha Heath, and we're going to talk about her later, because what we have done is we give an award in her honour, and it's a wonderful thing for an individual whose work, whose legacy is then, recognised. And for me, when I'm looking through the applications, the sort of what do you call that, that moment, that special moment is after I've read it and I think, oh my goodness, so Samantha Heath, because then I just feel her spirit rolling on, and I just know that what I'm reading, she would be there, if not doing it, being part of it. So thanks to all of the 75 applications. Didn't read all 75, just read with my co-judges on the category that I was involved in. Just to share just a couple of anecdotes about Samantha, and it's also as well, it brings fun into it, because over the years, those of us who have been on the front line, we've been called grim and we've been called miserable, and we're told we're wanting to stop people living their lives because we want to change behaviour, so that's never easy. But it can be fun and it can be inspiring. And over 20 odd years ago, I first had a meeting with Samantha, and I walked into a room and I saw this incredibly wonderful petite person up against the wall in a headstand. And she said to me, would I mind if we carried on this meeting for the first half, because she needed to top up her mental energy levels because she was on a long day. And I said, absolutely not. And because at the time I was doing yoga, I thought I'd impress her. And I just went into a handstand myself. And there we were, we held this meeting upside down, up against the wall, talking through the issues that we were talking about. And one of the issues that we were talking about was how we both at that time held portfolios on the London Assembly for I held it for culture and Samantha for environment, and we were thinking, we spent our time thinking through how we could pull together an initiative bringing culture and the environment together, especially the issue that we were pushing there, how to renew and how do we deal with plastics, and I wish it was my idea. And Samantha said, I know what we'll do. We'll do a reuse fashion show, and we'll do a theme, beach. And I said, you really seriously going to make a bikini out of plastics? And she said, no, not the bikini. She said, the accessories. And so I was given my job to go off and speak to people within the cultural sector, and she went off to find the charities. And we put on the first fashion exhibition featuring renewable plastics in hats, Beats hats, and handbags and flip-flop shoes, and the work of some charities coming out of India. And I think that for me set the tone. It says a lot about Samantha because what she did was she not only opened our eyes to the massive problems of air quality, particularly so long ago, but she did it in such a challenging way, because she asked us to think about a problem in an engaging way, and also encouraged us to believe that there was a solution, that if we thought about things more widely, if we went beyond the business as usual way of thinking, that we could bring about change. So I'm sharing that with you so that you know about, the person who was part of the founding of these awards. Long may they continue. Andrew, I think I've talked long enough, and so what I'm going to do is it's my great pleasure to introduce another truly outstanding person that it's been my pleasure to work alongside, and to say, if you haven't followed her work to date, please do follow her extraordinary work that she's doing at City Hall on behalf of the Mayor of London. So can I ask us to please welcome Shirley Rodriguez, London Deputy Mayor for the Environment and Energy. Whoa, Shirley.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Jeanette, for that lovely introduction. And hello, Andrew. Thank you for inviting me, and congratulations, Francisca, on your new role, and look forward to working with you at Global Action Plan. That was a lovely tribute and a reminder of the work of Sam Heath and the London Sustainability Exchange. It's just lovely bringing back those memories, and I'm really glad that I've never managed to master the art of yoga to join you in headstands. I'm not sure that would have been a good look, I think. But you're right, she really did set both you as well, Jeanette, the work at the Greater London Authority, challenging this mayor and previous mayors to really keep sustainable development, the environment, climate change, but also the fact that it's wider, it's the impact on people's lives, high up on the agenda. And thank you for sort of acknowledging some of the work that we've been doing under this mayoralty, under the mayoralty of Sadiq Khan. But we have a lot to do. We're facing so many challenges, but it's absolutely fantastic to have organisations like Global Action Plan, and all the finalists for today, the best examples of people, places and organisations who really do want to make London a more sustainable place. And obviously what we do in London extends beyond London to the rest of the UK, but also now globally as well. And it's great because, we've had a really tough couple of years, with the pandemic. We're not all out of it. There are very many people who are still sort of vulnerable to COVID-19. And we have had lots of impacts that, that were really highlighted and then exacerbated by COVID-19. So how can we tackle those in a way that makes London a greener and fairer city? And then on top of that, we now have the cost of living crisis, which is making things more difficult. And every day we're getting more and more news about how insect populations are crashing, how the likelihood of us breaching the 1.5 degrees C guardrail, 50-50 chance the Met Office talk about in the next 5 years, which is truly terrifying. We're seeing the impacts of climate change already happening in global north cities like London, but much worse in other cities and other countries around the world. Look what's happening in India or Pakistan, etc. So despite those, quite positive commitments after COP, we know that we have so much more to do on tackling the climate and ecological emergency, but doing it in a way that is sustainable, but also inclusive. The thing that Sadiq talks about is we have to have an inclusive agenda. When we talk about air pollution, we talk about it as a social justice and health issue. It isn't just an environmental issue, although important as that is. Similarly, on climate action, we want this to be an inclusive approach, one that is difficult because it does require behaviour change, but we know that we have to do it and we can do it. Many of those solutions exist already. And Sadiq has really been clear that we have to have that cleaner, fairer and more equal city, and with a renewed drive. And that's why we have as one of our missions under the London Recovery Board, which brings together all of London's key organisations and stakeholders, a Green New Deal mission. And that's really to drive that jobs piece, but also to make sure that we're doing it in a way that tackles the climate and ecological emergencies, improves air pollution, and tackles air pollution, rather improves air quality, and improves health and the quality of life. This obviously, we are facing economic challenges, but as I've said, we do have those solutions. And we've been working over the last few years to support actually the many organisations. So, the Greater London Authority and many of these organisations in London, we know that we can't do this alone. We really need your help, and we need your ideas, and we need your innovation. So awards like this, where people are coming together and coming up with new ideas, is absolutely critical to that aim. So I'm looking forward to hearing about some of the finalists and the winners later on. But I think I just wanted to stress what the challenges that we have faced, or we are facing in London. So earlier this year, the Mayor published an update to his 1.5 degree climate action plan. We did new analysis because he's brought forward his target for London to be a net zero carbon city from 2050 to 2030 in the light of the IPCC reports and so on, and the fact that we have less than 10 years to really halve global emissions and keep us on track. Within that, we know that we've got big challenges on how do we retrofit our buildings in London, not only for carbon emissions, but because we have a massive level of fuel poverty in London, which is exacerbated again by the cost of living crisis. So how can we do that? We have to reduce our car mileage by 27% over the next few years in order to help us meet our carbon targets. So this is just the size of the challenge we have to, we face. We have to retrofit at least 200,000 homes a year. We're doing probably in the order of tens of thousands, nothing, nowhere near enough. Millions of heat pumps we have to install, and as I've said, reduce car traffic by 27% in vehicle kilometres. But the good news is we're not starting from scratch. We've got some ideas that you're going to be giving us. We've launched a couple of programs over the last few years. So, for example, the ultra low emission zone in central London was expanded then out to inner London in last October. And that's really looking to reduce air pollution. We're already seeing that being cut by almost a half in central London. We're expecting to see good levels of reduction when we get the first data, which will be in 6 months after that October date, so not long now. And the Mayor has talked, because of the light of the climate emergency, that we need to expand his wish to expand the ULEZ out to London, so covering the whole of London. So we'll be consulting on that shortly. So do watch out for that, and please do reply, because it's such an important issue. We have a number of programs to help retrofit social housing in particular, and we've been supporting thousands of homes with energy efficiency measures, which help both the health of the people who live there, but also reduce their energy bills and saves carbon. And we've been looking to develop lots of research to feed into programs so that we can really develop the skills that we need for London's future. Whether it's, when people talk about, green jobs, we talk about, people sort of instantly think about, solar panel fitters and people who install insulation and so on. But I think what we want to show is that there's a whole range of jobs in London that are already green, that we probably don't recognise they're green. I mean, many of the jobs you're doing are indeed green jobs. But, there are jobs in the city around, working in the legal profession or finance and so on. And just making sure that people understand the scope and the range of jobs there are out there. And again, as we talked about, how to make this open for every Londoner so that we're not limiting access. It really truly is an agenda for all Londoners working to transition to that net zero economy. And key to that is working with organisations like GAP, with you all on the call, with the local authorities, with business. And I'm pleased to say that, we've had such huge traction. People came together during the pandemic. People come together to look to how do we recover from the pandemic. And whilst that's not an ideal start, what it's really meant is that people are talking together more than they've ever talked before. We are collaborating together more than we have done before, and I think that really is the is something that we really want to carry on doing, and we really need to be doing if we're tackling the sustainability challenge we face in London. So I just wanted to say thank you all to Gav and to everybody on the call. Just because of your collective efforts, I know that we are going to make a big sort of dent in the sort of environmental footprint of London and really make sure that that is much greener. So looking forward, as I said, to hear a bit more about your nominees. And I'm going to hand back to Francisca now, I think. I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to stay for the whole session because I've got to go and do an interview, but I'll be checking back in and hopefully hearing more about the winners. So thank you again, Andrew, Francisca, and of course, Jeanette.
Thank you, Shirley, for being here and for your words. And thank you to all of you for making the time to be here today to celebrate all the great work happening to make London more sustainable.
I've done the classic mistake of not coming off mute. What really stands out about these awards is hope. Seeing all the hard work that's happening throughout London, driven by a belief and a desire to create a better capital for people and planet. So we're now going to watch a short video of all the fantastic work that those on this year's shortlist are doing in their communities.
We grow our own vegetables and our own fruit like raspberries. Come into our greenhouse where we grow our own seeds. Come on, it's amazing. In our kitchen, we have vegetarian food. We make all our own bread. All our bread with our community. A wheat field in the heart of central London.
Like the vision was a place where people could drop in, could come to planned events and workshops, learn new skills, volunteer, get work experience, all whilst learning in a really non-judgmental way what they can do to make a difference locally and for the planet.
Bikeworks has got a number of community programmes, all which use either traditional bicycles or some slightly more non-standard cycles. Currently we're developing a ride side-by-side active travel cycling taxi service, which will be targeted at people experiencing loneliness and isolation.
We need to make sure that we talk about the important issue that is air pollution with all our patients, and I do this with my patients in the respiratory clinic using GAPS materials on the Clean Air Hub. But I'm aware that not all colleagues are really confident doing this, and so I focus on education with contributing to GAPS Clean Air sessions for clinicians, and also developing my own simulation session for doctors working in paediatric A&E.
What makes us unique is that we are supported by 50 local volunteers, 50 people who give up their time to help make it possible to support 80 local households in need with surplus food collected from 45 stores in the local area.
The LSEN is really driven by the young people who are members of it. So they decide what's going to be on the agenda, they chair the meetings and they take minutes, and they lead the campaigns, all fully supported by school staff.
Made in Hackney is a community kitchen and cookery school. What's unique about our programme is that it's centred entirely around plants, how to grow them, cook them and eat more of them. And this is for the health, not just of people, but also the planet too.
Over the last year, I've been working with Greener Practice, a network of people working in primary care to make sustainable changes that are better for our patients and the planet. Here in London, I helped found the Greener Practice London group. We've now split into North and South London and have over 200 people signed up, and I now co-chair the National Greener Practice group.
I'm Neil Shepneck and I'm the project lead for What If Lambeth. With What If Lambeth, I've created space for conversations around the future of Lambeth and inspired many to take action for a greener and fairer borough.
I'm a GP, a climate change and health researcher, and an activist.
The London Construction Low Emission Zone is a world first. Our entirely new approach cleans up London's construction industry through education and awareness.
With boots on the ground, checking machines and removing the most polluting.
I presented London's first climate emergency motion to Lambeth in January 2019. Through the Beyond Politics group, we pressurised the council into running a citizens' assembly.
I knew that climate change can really harm the place and Earth, and like if we didn't do anything, something could happen. And when I started this, I like that I learned more about climate change than I did before.
We are the biggest food redistribution charity in London. We tackle two issues at the same time. We're trying to stop food waste and we're trying to end hunger in London. So we save food that would go to landfill and we redistribute it to frontline charities all across London who are feeding people in need.
The Sustainable City Awards, are especially important because they give us time to see what work is being done, where the work is being done, and who we can support, and also how we can support other organisations during our spare time. And as a Londoner and campaigner myself, it's great to see how Londoners are making London a better place, and it's also very inspiring. When I think of London's future, I see Londoners working as a collective to ensure we are meeting the targets mentioned by Shirley, mitigating the impacts of climate change and tackling air pollution hands-on. And the only way that I believe that we can do this is through collective action, which will essentially get us where we want to be. And judging by the video, we're already on our way there.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Francisca. And as we go through this afternoon's ceremony, we'd love to know what your hopes and visions for a future sustainable London are. So please use the chat box to share any thoughts and inspiration you have for us. What does volunteering look like? What are the inspiring schools that you work with doing? How does the public sector work and support the London of the future? For example, I'm a cyclist. I have been for 30 years in London, and I'm really proud of the work of local authorities during and since the pandemic in prioritising cycling and walking. It's not always been easy. There's often quite a bit of pushback, but I think it's encouraged thousands of new cyclists onto the road and made their journeys safer and more enjoyable. So whatever inspires you about sustainability in London, about the awards, the winners and those nominated as we go through the ceremony this afternoon, then please do share in the chat box and we'll read some as we go along. And I'll go, Francisca, I'll move on to the awards. So we're about to announce our first award winners for the schools category, but before we do that, we're going to hear from Investec, who've supported the awards for many years. And we have Evelyn Cronin from Investec, who was also a judge for the Sustainable School category. Evelyn, over to you.
Oh, thanks, Andrew. Hello, everyone. I hope you can all hear and see me okay. I'm absolutely delighted to be here today on behalf of Investec, and we're so proud to sponsor this year's awards to celebrate you, the heroes driving sustainability forward in your London communities. My name's Evelyn Cronin. I work in the private companies group at Investec here in London, and Investec's an international bank and wealth manager. So if we look at the next slide, we'll see a picture of our CEO, Fanny. So Investec was actually founded in South Africa, and our two main markets are actually South Africa and the UK. We're a values-led organisation, and our purpose is to create enduring worth while living in society, not off it. Our group CEO, Fanny, was born in abject poverty in South Africa. And here he talks about making an unselfish contribution to society, you know, nurturing an entrepreneurial spirit, respecting others, and embracing diversity. And these are the values very much at the heart of how we at Investec engage. We build relationships on mutual trust so that we can make the extraordinary possible. And there's a lot of extraordinary to celebrate here today. So if we look at sustainability and what that means for us really at Investec, you can see that sustainability is very much at the core of what we do. And we do this by being connected to our local communities through deep relationships and positive action of our people at a local level. In the UK, our sustainability programs are structured around 3 pillars, and these pillars are education, entrepreneurship, and the environment. In London, we work with our community partners based in Hackney, Newham, and Tower Hamlets, which are boroughs close to our office in the city. And in terms of with GAP, this is our 5th year that we at Investec have worked with Global Action Plan, but it's the first year I've personally been involved. And I'm absolutely thrilled to be part of the judging panel of the Sustainable City Awards to recognise the incredible work done by all of you, the nominees. What you do is truly inspirational, and I'm honoured to be part of the awards so we can shine a spotlight on your incredible work and your extraordinary impact. Your vision, passion, and hard work is changing our city, and your impact is felt in homes, schools, businesses, and communities throughout London and beyond. By engaging with your local communities, by going that extra mile, by bringing others along on the journey with you, you've created a movement and inspired countless to take those significant steps of engaging. So I just want to say thank you. And so to the main event, the awards. Starting off with the schools category, and to announce this year's Sustainable School of the Year, it's my absolute pleasure to introduce last year's winner, Sam Pillow from Hammersmith Academy. Welcome, Sam.
Hi, thanks, Evelyn. Can you hear me okay?
We can indeed. So
That's
before
great.
you announce the winner and highly commended, Sam, we'd love to hear about what the past year has been like for Hammersmith Academy and how the donation from the awards has helped continue your work.
Yeah, thank you very much, Evelyn. First of all, I've got to say it's been really inspiring to hear from all these different schools and different partners, and lots of words been coming out about challenges that we're all facing, shared challenges, trying to overcome. This is something that we've certainly been trying to do as a school. We've got 900 kids, all living in busy inner city London school. And the award that we were so graciously given last year, I've got the trophy here, which we love. It's pride and joy on the front of our school. We used the donation money to try and expand our gardening provision, and we actually bought an outdoor kitchen. We've got an area of land that we've designated. The kids have been hard at work, sort of clearing the land. We're now sort of in talks with people about drainage systems. And what we want to do is we want to try and encourage expanding of our growing of food, the horticulture, but also preparing it, cooking it, and then eating it. So what we actually want to do is we want to expand our actually giving students that experience of, trying healthy food and, thinking about how amazing we can do it in busy inner city London, growing our own food, and then actually, having a healthy option at school. So, yeah, that's the dream. We're well and truly on our way for our project at the moment. And yeah, we should be nearing completion soon.
Oh, thank you, Sam. That's wonderful. It really is amazing to see the legacy of the awards building from year to year. And we can't wait to hear now what the winning school is for 2022. So without further ado, I'll hand you back to you, Sam, to announce this year's winner.
Yeah, brilliant. So I had the opportunity of reading through some of the judges' comments. Judges all said that the nominations were fantastic. They were great examples of schools that are implementing sustainability into their everyday local communities. So first of all, before we go for the winner, we want to share some highly commended schools from the shortlist. So in no particular order, some of the highly commended schools were Halcyon London International School, hope I pronounced that correctly, Henry Fawcett Primary School, and Parliament Hill School. So congratulations to those school teachers and students working really, really hard to bring sustainability into your school community. The judges were incredibly impressed. But now to announce the winner for this year's London Sustainable School of the Year 2022, it is Greenside Primary School. Congratulations, Greenside. The judges were highly impressed with this school's carefully thought through and expertly executed strategy to embed sustainability issues into children's learning. Their choice of food as a lens through which to explore local and global environmental and social justice issues is working well and leading to a tangible change at the school and the development of children's knowledge, skills, and compassionate values. One judge actually praised the way the school made efforts to intersect food with other sustainability issues, commenting that there was real integrity in their simplicity. The judges felt that the ethos behind what this school is doing is what makes it such a powerful example of what is possible and is what gives it the system-changing potential. So congratulations, Greenside, and we're now going to watch a video from the winners before we go and see them there for reaction. So over to the video.
Welcome to Greenside! Sustainability is the heart of Greenside. Come and have a look around. We grow our own vegetables and our own fruit like raspberries. Come into our greenhouse where we grow our own seeds. Come on, it's amazing. In our science lessons, we learn about soil. Food waste goes into the compost bin. All our food waste goes into the car. In our science lessons, we've been learning about soil. We've been learning about the sustainability of food and fast. In our kitchen, we have vegetarian food. We make all our own bread. We share all our bread with our community. In the heart of Central London.
I mean, is that not just the sweetest video I've ever seen? Congratulations, Greenside. I mean, what a wonderful display of getting kids involved in sustainability. How do you guys feel?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Incredible.
That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for giving us the award and helping us to showcase and highlight everything that we've been doing here at Greenside. It's been a real journey, but it's a great journey to be on. And I think we've really proved through what we do that you can make it at the heart of the school. You can put sustainability, you can put food and growing, and you can combine it with your curriculum, and you can make something really wonderful that is a sustainable education, not just about sustainability, but it can become a sustainable part of what we do in a school.
And it's great for us to be able to share. The sharing is the big bit for us, because we're a small school, we're a normal school, normal staff. All of the things that we do here, everybody can do as well. It's just about having that mindset that you want to make it important and you want to put it at the heart of what you can do, and you can do these things no matter how big or small in your own school too.
That's brilliant. I can name many schools, including our own, that we can take some inspiration from you. I've got to ask before I hand back over, what's next? What's the plan?
Well, we have a bakery, but we would like to expand our bakery offer within our community. So we want to be able to run sessions for the community, to be able to teach baking, to teach bread making, and to be able to get our community involved lots more in the growing element and the cooking and sharing. Because after COVID, we really want to be able to bring the community in a lot more. So That's our plan. And to expand our garden so we can grow even more.
Watch this green space.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, congratulations again.
Thank you.
And thank you so much. Great to speak to you as well. Right, back to you, Andrew and Francisca. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sam, and massive congratulations to Greenside Primary School, just up the road from where I'm sitting this afternoon in Hammersmith. They're our Sustainable School of the Year. Really inspiring. We're going to move on to our School Changemaker of the Year, presented by last year's winner and Global Action Plan's Head of Youth Networks, Jess Tipton. Jess, welcome. Can you tell us a bit about what winning this award last year meant to you and what you decided to do with your donation?
Yes, of course. Thank you for having me here to present the next stage. I'm just so blown away by all these projects, and I think it really helps us realise that we're not alone, and there's so many things going on, and it all adds up, and hopefully we're getting to that kind of 25% tipping point that George Monbiot talks about, where it becomes the norm. So yeah, just find it so sort of heartening. So I was honoured to receive the award last year for setting up and running the London Schools Eco Network. And I chose to donate the prize money to the brilliant charity called Bees and Refugees, which I got to know about because of their work with Hammersmith Academy, who we've just heard from, and they were a founding member of the LSEN as well. And they have beehives run by Bees and Refugees right in the heart of the school, and I just love the fact it's right in the middle of the school community. And I think the whole kind of ethos of that charity really sums up the interconnection between people and planet. So in terms of what we've been doing since last year, so I've set up the UK Schools Sustainability Network, and that brings together over a dozen regional eco networks that are based on the model of the London Schools Eco Network, and they now span from the southwest to the home counties to the Midlands, and we've got lots of really hard-working teachers setting up new networks as we speak. So these are to bring students together, but also teachers and operations staff, and that's really, really important side of things in schools, as we all know. So some key projects we've done: we took over 20 teenagers to COP26 in November, and we've been feeding in views to the new climate strategy that the Department of Education launched last month. We've had Project Drawdown, George Monbiot, Kate Rayworth in to talk to the students and give bespoke talks that was really, really exciting. And the students have been speaking to the media, they've been on YouTube and doing podcasts, so really loads and loads of stuff going on. And this July, we're going to gather everyone together at Whiteton Woods in Oxford in person. And we're also setting up a new UKSSM board, so the students have a say in how it's run and what we do next. So there is a website if people want to check out more, ukssn.org.uk, and see our latest news. So that's just a few of the things that we've been doing.
That's all really inspiring stuff, Jess, and a great choice, Bees and Refugees. Now, we can't wait for you to tell us who's won this year, so over to you.
So incredibly strong nominations this year, and a real mix of teachers, students and educators. And it's, you know, from reading about the projects, it's undoubtedly that these are change makers in their communities, going, you know, way above and beyond against the odds, and alongside so many other priorities and work, particularly in schools, being, you know, such busy places and so many pressures, and particularly with COVID and everything. So I'm going to share who are the highly commended from the shortlist, and then reveal the winner. So for 2022, the highly commended school change makers are Zakia Kaji from Swap It Up, Jenny Chapman from the London Schools Eco Network, Rachel Harrison from Henry Fawcett Primary School, and Martin Steiner from Halcyon London International School. So really amazing work that you've all been doing, driving change, keeping going, and really reforming the education sector. So I'm going to now reveal the winner of the 2022 School Changemaker of the Year, which goes to Henry Greenwood. And here's a little bit from what the judges said about Henry. So through his work at the Green Schools Project, in particular the Zero Carbon Schools programme, Henry has demonstrated not only an impressive passion and drive for supporting positive change in schools, he is also actively working to expand the influence his work can have throughout the entire school community at the schools he works with. The Zero Carbon Schools programme takes a cross-curricular, whole class and then whole school approach to combine climate and nature education and action within curriculum time, with pupils empowered to lead projects addressing issues relating to food, travel, energy or purchasing. The judges were impressed by the results of the programme so far, as well as Henry's commitment to expanding the reach and impact of the programme by offering different models of delivery. This year, more than 40 schools are taking part in the programme, and Henry plans to expand this to 100 next year. So congratulations, Henry, and I think we've got a video to see about his work, and then we'll talk to him.
What I really liked about the Green Schools Project was that it involved the children a lot. So not many schools do enough to talk about making the world greener, schools greener. So what I really liked about the Green School Project is that the children were able to get involved, we were able to involve teachers, and then all together they were able to carry out projects to make the school greener. And I think it's teaching them really good stuff because they took some of their knowledge home to their parents as well, and it changed the way they perceive things.
I'm Saeed Hussain, I'm the Executive Head Teacher at George Mitchell School. I'm very, very excited that we are part of the Green Schools Project. I think it's incredibly important that children in this day and age have an understanding of the issues around climate change, and I think as educators it's incumbent on us to educate and to open the minds of children to the types of challenges that they will be facing as they grow up.
I knew that climate change can really harm the place and earth, and if you didn't do anything, something could happen. And when I started this, I liked that I learned more about climate change than I did before.
Welcome, Henry. Congratulations.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you so much. I did just want to say, obviously, I don't do something like this for awards, and nor does anybody. And the idea of sort of competing against each other is not, I'm sure, not what this is all about. And just want to say well done to all of the other nominees. What everybody else is doing is really inspiring, and we need lots more people doing something similar. I think I found it a bit less stressful being a judge last year than being a nominee and kind of being up against other people. But yeah, it's really nice to have the work recognised, and yeah, so thank you so much.
Yeah, no, I think you brilliant reach you got, getting to so many schools and really embedding it. And yeah, I've been, following and aware of your work for quite a while. I know you've been working at it for a long time, but yeah, we're all on the same side here. We're all, battling away. So yeah, we're all in it together. But yeah, I just wondered if you could say a few words about your next plans. I know you're hoping to expand to more schools, and how are you going to do that? And any advice or tips for schools who might be interested in getting involved?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, we started with just 4 schools in the pilot programme last academic year, and then this year we've expanded to 8 schools where we're delivering the programme directly in London, in sort of North and East London, and we're trialling a model where we can provide the resources and the materials to teachers in schools to deliver it themselves. and that's got another 35 or so schools on it. So that's how we got to sort of 40 plus this year. And we've just started recruiting schools for the programme next year, and our target is 100 schools for the remote programme. We will still keep delivering it ourselves to some schools in London, so that we can kind of try and test out ideas. And I mean, it's so important that we've actually delivered it, and so that we can kind of improve the resources and based on feedback and our kind of experience with the pupils themselves. But yeah, we hope to reach kind of an ever increasing number of schools. And just a little reality check is that a lot, while you're seeing the kind of like Greenside Primary School doing amazing things, there are so many schools out there that are either doing not very much at all, or kind of want to do bits and kind of just trying, but there's so many other pressures in schools. So yeah, we'd just like to sort of do our bit to help schools that would like to do more but need a bit of kind of support and help with that.
Brilliant, well, amazing, and it all adds up. There's lots of projects and things underway, and I think it's really gaining momentum at the moment. So congratulations again. So I'm going to hand over to Andrew and Francisca for the next section.
So our next awards category is the public sector, starting with London's Public Sector Organisational Changemaker of the Year. Last year, this was won by Islington Council, and joining us to award this year's winners is Martin Coymans. Martin, can you tell us what it meant for Islington to win this award last year?
Hi, Francesca, and hi everyone. Very nice to be here today, and it was absolutely fantastic to win last year. We won for our people-friendly streets program in Islington Council, which included low traffic neighbourhoods, which we hadn't delivered before, cycleways and lots of school streets. It was very difficult because it was delivered under the public health emergency. People worked very hard to deliver difficult schemes very quickly. There was enormous public backlash, demonstrations outside the town hall every week. Very angry residents, emails that we had to respond to, thousands in fact, FOI requests at risk of legal challenge. So winning the award was a real boost to morale for the team. It was really fantastic. Good to also put Islington on the map, because in previous years delivery of these kind of schemes was a bit slow. So we were really, really pleased to be winning. So yeah, fantastic. Thank you.
That's amazing, Martin. And we can't wait to hear from you. Who are the 2020 winners? So over to you.
Great. It's great to be passing on the honour of the Changemaker of the Year to another public sector organisation this year. I'm going to start with the highly commended one from the shortlist, and then I'll reveal the winners. For the category of London Public Sector Organisation Changemaker of the Year, the highly commended are first, the London Borough of Redbridge Green Homes Grants team, which is fantastic, reducing carbon emission in homes, but also reducing energy bills. And with the energy bills being super high at the moment, that's very welcome also from an inclusiveness point of view. So congratulations to Redbridge. And the other highly commended one is the London Borough of Waltham Forest, a great example to Islington for what we won last year for their walking and cycling program, and some great stats that through their years of work on this, they've increased life expectancy by 1.5 months. That's a really, really big achievement. So congratulations to Waltham Forest as well. And the winner is this year, and we saw them a little bit in the video in the beginning already, the London Borough of Merton Cleaner Construction for London team, their air quality team that created a low emission zone for construction machinery. Fantastic, congratulations to Merton. Here's what the judges had to say about Merton. The judges were all highly impressed by the London Borough of Merton's Cleaner Construction for London project, as it seeks to deliver best practice in a way which could be replicated both globally and at scale. They were impressed by the inclusive nature of the project. As one of the judges commented, there is no environmental justice without social justice. And this was considered a key strength of the project. Yes. Overarchingly, the judges were in agreement that Merton's work is a powerful initiative tackling an underrepresented area in the climate agenda, considering a world first with clear and demonstrable impact. A very worthy winner. Congratulations. Let's watch Merton's video and then we'll talk to them.
The air quality team at Merton is delivering cleaner construction across London. The London Construction Low Emission Zone is a world first. Our entirely new approach cleans up London's construction industry through education and awareness,
with boots on the ground, checking machines and removing the most polluting.
Neighbourhood communities are directly benefited through reduced pollution and therefore better health outcomes. By recording engine standards, alongside power and operational hours, modelled emission savings from project activities can now be calculated. The project covers all of London, from wealthy areas to the very most deprived. Regeneration frequently takes place in close proximity to dense housing in less affluent areas. Research shows that those exposed to the worst air pollution are more likely to be poorer Londoners than those from minority communities. Although the larger organisations benefit from in-house environmental teams, the majority of construction in London is undertaken by smaller contractors. By hunting out undeclared sites, smaller developers can be effectively engaged to play their part. Engaging a single site can lead to wider organisational change, sometimes on a national scale. The activity in London is rightly seen as the shape of things to come more widely.
Fantastic. Congratulations once again. So, Mert and team, I'd like to hear your reaction, and no doubt everyone else watching today.
Fantastic news.
Yeah, can you hear us all okay?
We can hear
We're
you. Yeah.
pleased. We're so pleased. We've had a really busy 6 years. We've been working hard through the COVID crisis, as we all have, of course. And we're not in it for the recognition. We're really not. But to get it, it's kind of nice. It is. We have to put a call out, I think, to the industry who have been so accommodating of what we've been doing. When we started, I think quite naively, we thought that we were going to get a lot of sort of enforcement activity, and it wasn't like that at all. We reached out to the construction industry. They just took our hand off. They're so glad to have this level playing field that they can demonstrate their green credentials and enable them to indeed protect the communities around them. So regeneration is essential, and yes, something has to be done in those same communities that are undergoing that regeneration. It is scalable. I think you mentioned that yourself. We want to take this to other cities. Lots of cities are interested, but where's the resource? Can they resource us? We're busy with London. We've got so much to do in London. So we're just hoping that success of this kind, with thank you so much for this, is going to help us just attract that additional funding and enable us to grow this a bit further. So thank you so much. We're absolutely pleased this page.
I think it's great to recognise the hard work that's gone on in the team. As you can imagine, scaling this up across 32 London boroughs has been difficult at times, but we're in a really good place now, and we're starting to see some really good reductions in pollution and carbon as well.
Great, fantastic. Great to hear your reactions, and congratulations once again. And Islington will be the first place who wants to talk to you, because we are about to recruit someone to take on this work as well. So lots to learn there. Thank you all. Congratulations, and back to Andrew.
Thank
you. Thank you very much indeed, Martin, and massive congratulations to Merton. It's so wonderful to be involved in something that recognises the work of the public sector, because sometimes you know, the individual change makers and those organisations that work at the heart of their communities are really important, but without the public sector, some of these changes don't get locked in. So it's fantastic to see. Now, to introduce and present the award for London's Public Sector Individual Changemaker of the Year, we'd like to welcome last year's winner. So Dr. Anand Patel. Anand, hi.
Thank you, Andrew.
Hi, Anand, welcome. Can you tell us a bit about your work, what it meant to you to win this award last year?
Thanks, Andrew. It was really humbling to win this award last year. It's very unusual for me to be lost for words and overwhelmed, but that's exactly what I was. I won it for my work on educating other healthcare professionals about the perils of air pollution, the impact on our patients, and how we spread that message directly to patients as well as to each other, and some practical things that we can do, both as individuals and organisations and departments within organisations, to minimise the impact of air pollution and the health effects thereafter. In the last year, I've tried to kind of expand that education programme to other groups that I didn't manage to get to before. I've taken on a leadership role within the organisation as well to try and kind of open more doors and bring the kind of climate and sustainability agenda to new and different people who make decisions and who hold the purse strings, as well as trying to be a better husband and dad. And my 4-year-old, I've unwittingly indoctrinated him into being an environmentalist as well. His 2 favourite questions are, is it vegan, and why is your car not electric, to anyone who sees driving anything that makes any noise. So enough about me. It's a pleasure to be invited to present this year's Sustainable City Award and celebrate the great work that's been happening in the capital. Well done to everyone here who's having their work celebrated. There are 3 highly commended individual change makers of the year in the public sector this year and 1 winner. The highly commended individuals are Councillor Pete Elliott from Lambeth Green Party at Pete556 on Twitter, who does a lot of work towards carbon neutrality in Lambeth, mainly to do with housing and air pollution. Also highly commended is Dr. Tamsin Ellis from the Centre for Sustainable Healthcare and the North Central London ICS. She's the co-chair for Greener Practice, and you can find her at climate_GP. And there's Dr. Anna Moore, a respiratory medicine physician colleague who works in East London, and she's at Anna Moore 83, educating healthcare professionals again about the perils of air pollution. So congratulations to all of you. And the winner of this category, Public Sector Individual Changemaker of the Year 2022, is Dr. Rita Issa. Congratulations, Rita. The judges were really impressed by your work as someone who leads the charge on climate change and healthcare. Your focus on empowering and encouraging others stood out to the judges, as did the way in which your work covered both the macro issues as well as those at the local level, showing the importance of community impact. Judges reflected on how you've brought the health voice together, promoting inclusion and driving sectoral change through your work as a leading member of the Dr. Climate campaigns and networks. Congratulations. And from a personal point of view, you probably don't remember this, you taught me, you gave me some media training one weekend, gave up your own time for free to do that. Taught a bunch of us about how to kind of get our voices heard and how to kind of send our messages across. So congratulations. Let's watch Rita's video and then we'll talk to her.
Hi, my name is Dr. Rita Issa. I'm a GP, a climate change and health researcher, and an activist. And one of the organisations which I co-founded was Doctors for Extinction Rebellion. Here on the left, you can see 210 pairs of shoes laid out in Trafalgar Square, highlighting the daily numbers of deaths in the UK as a result of air pollution. I'm also a writer and often go into the media to speak about air pollution and its impact on our health. On the left, you can see some articles which I wrote for The Independent as a columnist from my time aboard the Arctic Sunrise, speaking about the importance of ocean health for human and planetary health and well-being. I was also fortunate enough to find myself in a room with Alok Sharma, the COP president at COP26, and delivered a statement on behalf of the health community to call for a just and climate-friendly recovery as we move through the pandemic. And finally, I just want to highlight a little bit of the work that we're doing at the Bromley by Bow Centre. This is the Sustainable initiative, which was set up by some brilliant Year Here fellows. And one of the things that we recently did was plant an orchard and work with the local community to highlight air pollution. Thanks so much for having me.
Rita, congratulations. How do you feel?
I actually feel a little bit lost for words because I really wasn't expecting to receive this award, given all the other people who are also nominated in this category. And I just, especially working directly with Tamsin and Anna, I just really want to acknowledge their work and the work of so many public sector workers across London who are really taking out time from their evenings and their weekends to do this in addition to our frontline jobs. So yeah, I just feel really honoured. So yeah, thank you so much. Hadn't prepared anything, so maybe I'll just leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rita. Congratulations. Back over to you, Francisca.
Moving on to a new sector now, the volunteer and community sector. I would like to welcome Jeanette Arnold, OBE. I'd like to present the award for London's Community Changemakers of the Year. Over to you, Jeanette.
Okay, can you hear me? The videos have been so inspiring, and they really highlight the focus of the 2022 awards, which is really about promoting well-being for people and our planet. It's absolutely wonderful to see Londoners, local authorities, activists and local groups driving that change for a green and thriving capital. We are now at the Community Changemakers of the Year Award, which is where we celebrate the work of the voluntary and community organisations. And can I start off by saying well done to everyone for getting this far and for all the great work that you do. Highly commended in this category are Bikeworks CIC, congratulations. Made in Hackney, congratulations. And the Restart Project. Well done to those three organisations. And we should have a little drum roll here, shouldn't we? And the winner of this year's award in this category is Life After Humus, Community Benefit Society. Congratulations to you. Let me just say the judges loved the innovation and inclusiveness of this project and described it as so much more than just a food bank. They loved the way that it included a library of things and that there was use of low carbon transport and that it was led by Black and minority ethnic members of the Black and minority ethnic communities. They were impressed that this service has expanded to include a wraparound support service for people using their food banks and had managed to engage so well with the local community. Overall, the judges felt that Life After Humus is helping to solve the root of the problem of food poverty. And of course, it had a brilliant name. So we're now going to watch the video from Life After Humus Community Benefit Society, and afterwards we'll go to them for their reaction.
Where Life After Humus Community Benefit Society were located in Somerstown, Camden. What makes us unique is that we are supported by 50 local volunteers, 50 people who give up their time to help make it possible to support 80 local households in need with surplus food collected from 45 stores in the local area. And our youngest volunteer is 10 years of age. We take in so much surplus that we are also able to redistribute this to 11 hostels, 1 after-school club, and a church group. Our collections and redistributions are done by using a mixture of hand carts, bicycle trailers, a cargo bike, and the use of cars, resulting in 62% of our redistribution being carbon avoided and 37% for collections. On top of food parcels, we are able to provide local households with social prescriptions from anything from debt advice, housing, as well as employability.
Well, thank you. That was a great video. And congratulations once again. Can I just ask Farah, how does it feel to win? What's it like there?
I'm speechless. Thank you very much for the judges for selecting us. And thank you for the nomination as well. We're very grassroots and not a lot of people know about the work we do, except for the residents of Somerstown in Camden. And really to receive this award means an awful lot because it will open doors. It'll make it possible, for example, for us to get in contact with the people at the mayor's office, at the London Mayor's office, to be more connected because we are really inspired by the Earthshot project. We'd like to create this waste-free Camden. We want to get more kids involved. I'm so inspired by the schools I've seen. And we've got very soon a pilot project coming up with the local high school. And I just want to say this isn't possible without our 50 local volunteers. And this award is for them. They are the ones that make this truly possible, from our 10-year-old to our most senior person. And people who volunteer with us, sometimes they volunteer for their mental health, for their health. And it's so important to have an intersectional and inclusive space where you have this intergenerational feel. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Farah. And I personally am going to be watching and following the journey that you'll be taking over the next 12 months. And we'll hopefully hear more about it the next time we meet. But congratulations to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're now going to move to award our final category, which is the Samantha Heath Award for London's Changemaker of the Year. And this is an award that celebrates individuals in London's voluntary and community sector. Before I make the announcement, let me just, I don't apologise for repeating a few of the things that I'm going to say about Samantha. Samantha opened our eyes to the massive problems of air quality long before it hit the news. She became LSX Chief Exec in 2005, its second CEO, and had a 13-year tenure in that role. During that time, she led the team to devise and deliver many successful projects and programs that brought together diverse players. One of her early successes at LSX was to lead a groundbreaking support programme that at the time we spoke about greening London's food and drink sector. There's still much more work to do, we know, in that sector. She enabled countless community groups to understand how pollution impacts on their lives. It's fine for us to have the strategies, for us to have, the meetings and the discussions and the marches. But what we've got to do is we've got to get everybody to own and understand the impact pollution has on our lives. In 2004, she successfully influenced the implementation of London's first low emission zone. And I think there you can see, I'll repeat, her strength was to always challenge us to think harder about a problem and come up with a solution, to think more widely and to go beyond the business as usual of delivering projects. This is a thread that we saw through last year's winner, and a thread that has stood out throughout all the applications for this award this year. So I can think of no better person to present the winner and highly commended for this category than last year's winner, Carolyn Axtell from Possible. Welcome, Carolyn. What has the last year been for you since you won this award?
Well, it's lovely to be here today. It's nice to see you, Jeanette, and everybody else. It's been a really busy year for the Car Free London campaign at Possible. We've been doing a lot of work on parklets. We had a lovely pop-up parklet as part of supporting like a parents campaign group around air quality and road safety in Downham Road in Hackney, which was a great success, and we're working with them to try and get a permanent parklet in. We did a really interesting piece of research called Going Car Free, where we supported 3 people in each of our cities, including 3 in London, to basically give up driving and supported them to explore other alternatives, by providing sort of cargo bikes and other forms of transport for them. And they described that as life-changing. We had a really interesting group of participants. So do look out for the challenge this July, when we'll be encouraging other people to have a go at Going Car Free with some really good discounts. We've got a great noise pollution event happening tomorrow in Shoreditch at the Box Park, so it'd be great if people can come down to that. We're expecting to see a few of the London Assembly members and councillors down there. And as a trustee of Cycle Sisters, Muslim Women's Cycling Charity, we've seen some great developments, expanding into more boroughs, hundreds of women taking part in our rides, in our fundraising challenges, and we've got, I think, 80 women signed up for the Ride London Challenge, which will be happening I think at the end of May. So in the coming year ahead, we want to get more parklets out there. So if there are any community groups or schools or faith venues that would be interested in working with us to create your own parklet, especially if you're in an area that's lacking in green space, then please do get in touch.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Karen. I've been following you, so I know that you and your group of volunteers and members, you never stop. You are always on the go, doing something really wonderful. And thank you for sharing with us and being here to announce this year's winner and highly commended for the Samantha Heath Award for London's Changemaker of the Year. Over to you.
So we've got amazing, highly commended shortlist this year. The highly commended for this year's Samantha Heath Award are Claire Searle from Greener and Cleaner, Neil Shepek from What If Lambeth, and Rebecca Clark from the Conservation Volunteers, all of whom are doing amazing work in their communities. Congratulations to all of you. And the winner is Rachel Ledwith from the Felix Project. The judges on the whole felt that Rachel really stood out in this category because of her personal energy and drive and the scale of her impact, bringing nutritious food to thousands of people in need. And her solutions were seen as being unique, simple and innovative at the same time. And because she brought together all 32 London boroughs to work alongside community groups in a genuine collaboration, which wasn't the easiest option, but one which really led to a huge impact. They also felt that her work addressed the immediate crises with a positive impact on people's health and well-being, and that in turn is helping to build more resilient communities for the future, to set up systems which will last for a long time beyond COVID. So we're going to see a video now of Rachel and the Felix Project, and then we'll get some reaction from Rachel.
Unique. The Felix Project is unique. We are the biggest food redistribution charity in London. We tackled 2 issues at the same time. We're trying to stop food waste and we're trying to end hunger in London. So we save food that would go to landfill, and we redistribute it to frontline charities all across London who are feeding people in need.
A lot of the people that use the centre are families, and we also have a lot of older people as well, and they were very vulnerable. So we were doing home deliveries to the older people. We get all our food from Felix, and all our fresh produce, and meat, and vegetables, ready meals, and dairy products. And we're very, very grateful because the project wouldn't flourish without, without the food that Felix donate to us.
Well done, congratulations, Rachel. So can we get Rachel up now?
Have I appeared?
Yes, you have.
Oh, well, I'm so incredibly blown away that I've won this award. I am absolutely speechless, which is unheard of for me. But I really want to say that this award is as much about the ability for me to bring everyone together as it was about the willingness and the desire for everyone across London to come together to support everyone who needed that help in the pandemic. So, I'll take the award willingly, but I really think that this is a huge thank you to all of the 32 boroughs who came on board and all of the community organisations who worked with us and the rest of the London Food Alliance to make sure that as many people as possible were fed during the pandemic. So, and it really is exciting that the legacy is carrying on, and we continue to work with all of those local authorities and all of the community organisations to make sure that all those connections really help to support everyone going forward.
Oh, thank you, Rachel. That was really good that we managed to get you up and to hear your reaction. Congratulations again. Keep up the amazing work. And congratulations to the other shortlisted nominees and those that were highly commended. Back over to Francisca and Andrew.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. And a brilliant work, Rachel, and to all the winners as well. Congratulations. what's been really inspiring as well are all the generous and supportive comments in the chat as we've gone through, which underlines, I think, something Henry said earlier in the awards, which is that we're not really here to compete, we're here to share our stories and celebrate the amazing work that's going on across London to try and make the city more of a sustainable city in all the areas we've talked about. Now, I'm afraid that concludes this year's Sustainable City Awards ceremony. A video of the ceremony will be available to watch on the Global Action Plan website shortly, so you'll be able to share it with anyone who'd have liked to have been here today. Please do check out the hashtag, which is hashtag Sustainable City Awards on Twitter, and post your own tweets too.
And I'd like to say a huge thank you to everyone who helped make this event possible today. To our speakers, Jeanette, Shirley, Sam, Jess, Martin, Anna and Caroline for announcing this year's winners and highly commended. To our judges for their stellar support in helping us judge all the amazing nominations received this year. To everyone who nominated, and also a huge thank you and congratulations to all of our winners and highly commended nominees. Your work is not only inspiring, but it's creating a better future for current and future Londoners. I'm sure I can speak for everyone also and say that we're all so grateful for the work that you do in creating the future for London.
Thanks, Francisca. And finally, we'd like to say thank you to our partners, the Mayor of London and the London Environment Directors Network, and to our long-standing supporter, Investec, for their support towards the award donations. It'll be great to see what the winners will achieve over the next year because of this support, and we will look forward to hearing what they have to say this time next year.
And we hope more people and organisations will be inspired to nominate next year and to continue all the tremendous work to make London a green and thriving capital. If you'd like to stay on to the end, we'll be showing the video with all this year's shortlisted people and the work they've been doing. You can also sign up to Global Action Plan's newsletter and keep up to date with our work on Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. To find out more about the work that we're doing to create a more sustainable London too.
Thanks so much, Francisca. And it's so exciting to have you on board with Global Action Plan as well. Look forward to working with you. Please help us to continue to build the sustainability movement. Share posts about the awards on your channels using the @ and hashtags shown, and do keep an eye out for when the entries for next year's awards open for submission, which will be in less than a year's time now. And we hope to see you all next year. So thank you again. That's it. Have a lovely rest of your evening and keep striving to make London the most sustainable and inclusive city it can be. Thank you.
We grow our own vegetables and our own fruit like raspberries. Come into our greenhouse where we grow our own seeds. Come on, it's amazing. In our kitchen, we have vegetarian food. We make all our own bread. All our bread with our community. Wheat field in the heart of central London.
The Vision was a place where people could drop in, could come to planned events and workshops, learn new skills, volunteer, get work experience, all whilst learning in a really non-judgmental way what they can do to make a difference locally and for the planet.
Bikeworks has got a number of community programmes, all which use either traditional bicycles or some slightly more non-standard cycles. Currently we're developing a ride side-by-side active travel cycling taxi service, which will be targeted at people experiencing loneliness and isolation.
We need to make sure that we talk about the important issue that is air pollution with all our patients, and I do this with my patients in the respiratory clinic using GAPS materials on the Clean Air Hub. But I'm aware that not all colleagues are really confident doing this, and so I focus on education with contributing to GAPS Clean Air sessions for clinicians, and also developing my own simulation session for doctors working in paediatric A&E.
What makes us unique is that we are supported by 50 local volunteers, 50 people who give up their time to help make it possible to support 80 local households in need with surplus food collected from 45 stores in the local area.
The LSEN is really driven by the young people who are members of it. So they decide what's going to be on the agenda, they chair the meetings and they take minutes, and they lead the campaigns, all fully supported by school staff.
Made in Hackney is a community kitchen and cookery school. What's unique about our programme is that it's centred entirely around plants, how to grow them, cook them and eat more of them. And this is for the health, not just of people, but also the planet too.
Over the last year, I've been working with Greener Practice, a network of people working in primary care to make sustainable changes that are better for our patients and the planet. Here in London, I helped found the Greener Practice London group. We've now split into North and South London and have over 200 people signed up, and I now co-chair the National Greener Practice group.
I'm Neil Shepek and I'm the project lead for What If Lambeth. With What If Lambeth, I've created space for conversations around the future of Lambeth and inspired many to take action for a greener and fairer borough.
I'm a GP, a climate change and health researcher, and an activist.
The London Construction Low Emission Zone is a world first. Our entirely new approach cleans up London's construction industry through education and awareness.
With boots on the ground, checking machines and removing the most polluting.
I presented London's first climate emergency motion to Lambeth in January 2019. Through the Beyond Politics group, we pressurised the council into running a citizens' assembly.
I knew that climate change can really harm the place and earth, and like if we didn't do anything, something could happen. And when I started this, I like that I learned more about climate change than I did before.
We are the biggest food redistribution charity in London. We tackle two issues at the same time. We're trying to stop food waste and we're trying to end hunger in London. So we save food that would go to landfill and we redistribute it to frontline charities all across London who are feeding people in need.